Well, the Boeing company has been in Oklahoma since World War II, supporting Tinker Air Force Base. But in the past decade, we've seen their numbers of employees more than quadruple. It's an example of just how far you can go when industry, government, and education all work together to create jobs. And we were there at the opening of Boeing's new $80 million facility. It was an event a century in the making. On the Boeing Company's 100th anniversary, a new 300,000 square foot research and development lab opened its doors in Oklahoma City.
So it was just a year ago that we broke ground for this facility on a hot July day.
Mike Emmelhainz is Boeing's senior site executive.
We'll do integration work, we'll do modification work. A lot of the aircraft that we support as they age or we need to find new capabilities for them, these are the labs that will find those innovative answers.
For a company whose footprint continues to grow in the state, building new facilities and adding new jobs. Governor Mary Fallon.
Well, the economic impact of these jobs is huge. It's an $80 million investment, 800 jobs that are high-paying, good jobs in Oklahoma's second largest industry, which is the aerospace industry.
Boeing now employs more than 2,500 Oklahomans while spending close to $900 million with local suppliers, an impact that supports directly or indirectly an additional 28,000 jobs.
This is a sector of our community that is really seeing rapid growth, and so not only is it more jobs, it's phenomenally good jobs. These are, highly paid jobs, highly professional jobs.
That did not arrive by accident. Tax breaks from the state and city were all key in bringing Boeing's headquarters for aircraft modernization into Oklahoma.
One of the first laws I signed almost 6 years ago as governor was to put into effect an aerospace engineer's tax credit, which I know has helped Boeing keep jobs, maintain jobs, bring new jobs to our state.
Attracting talented engineers to Oklahoma, having the right kind of skills to do the type of work we need is very critical. And it's a competitive market out there. As the governor said, STEM education is so critical, and getting the right level of volume of people that can fill those critical jobs is very tough. So anytime you have an incentive that's offered that is more attractive to an employee and gives you a little bit of an opportunity to capture them in a very competitive market is a great thing.
In attracting young system engineers like Natalie Nill.
I grew up in St. Louis for the most part, and so I knew Boeing was a great company to work for.
But wasn't quite so sure about working in Oklahoma City.
I figured Oklahoma, I'd probably be here like a year or two, get established in Boeing and move off to a coast somewhere more exciting. But then I ended up really liking the state. I really liked the job and the people I worked with, and so I'm about to hit 6 years here now.
And while tax breaks may attract high-skilled workers into Oklahoma, it takes more than incentives to bring a company like Boeing into the state.
At the end of the day, how strong your workforce is, how efficient they are, how talented they are, that's really what makes the business click. All those other things are great enablers, and they make us stronger and more cost-effective. But at the end of the day, it's the people that are the engine that get you the results you want.
And therein lies the challenge. Even though Boeing's average salary is $90,000 annually, the company still struggles to fill some positions.
We never have enough. We never have enough in the pipeline. We would love it if there were 100 applicants for every job that we have. We do get a lot of applicants, but we're looking for some very specialized skills.
Steve Hendrickson handles Boeing's government operations in Oklahoma.
We recruit nationally. I will tell you from experience, we have some magnificent candidates that come to us from the coasts, either East Coast or West Coast. What we have found over time is those folks come here, they do an absolute magnificent job. They support our customer very admirably, but as they get some experience under their belt, they're more inclined to go back to home. We find, although we recruit nationally, we have a lot better success rate finding folks with ties in our general area or in the surrounding states because they're more apt to stay with us and more apt to stay in the community if their families are closer.
Which makes local education critical to Boeing's employee pipeline.
I think our education system, we really need to take a hard look at that. It's important. It's a foundation of what made this country great. I think it's the foundation of, when we look at the next century for Boeing, it'll be key that we have a strong education system that can support the types of jobs and innovative initiatives that we're going to need going forward.
When large employers are making work placement decisions, the quality of the collaboration among the education community and what we call the talent pipeline, which is a fancy way of saying how many folks are available in that specific jurisdiction that have the skills that we need in order to execute our business plan. The skills development and the talent development pool are one of the big contributing factors now for work placement decisions, so it's critically important.
Not just to develop future employees, but to retain those they already have. Young engineers often have young families, and good schools, key to employee retention.
Being an engineer, moving into Oklahoma City, I was afforded that same opportunity.
Boeing's Lynette McKinnon says while the aerospace engineers tax credit may have influenced some engineers to move to Oklahoma, it's other things that have kept them here.
It's not just about the job that you do every day, but you've got a family to make sure that they're in a good place. So the quality of life that Oklahoma can afford people is another key factor.
Well, it's projected that Boeing's expansion will have a $637 million impact in Oklahoma City in the next 4 years. But not everything the company is doing can be measured in dollars and cents. For example, when the young systems engineer Natalie Nill isn't busy rebuilding airplanes, she's rebuilding houses for the elderly. Now, to hear her tell her story of giving back to the community, just head over to okhorizon.com and look under our value-added section.